I'm bringing you a special interview today with my very dear friend Sheila Hani. She lives in Dahab and is a volunteer for Sea Shepherd, as well as running our very, very amazing vegan restaurant. So Sheila, I'd like to ask you a little bit about your work. Now, I know that you were interviewed, you appeared on the Freedive Cafe podcast last week, so You're suddenly fame and fortune. Hope it's not going to your head yet.
Of course not.
But I think awareness is growing all the time around Sea Shepherd, and we're doing a special promotion for this Christmas on the Yoga for Freediving videos, giving 20% of the profits to Sea Shepherd. So I just thought that some of my followers might be interested to know a little bit more about you and what you do for them. Okay. So how did your relationship with Sea Shepherd start?
I heard about them and I was sort of like curious, and at one of the veg fests in Bristol I saw there was a stall there, so I got chatting to some volunteers and they have all this nice literature about what they do and the pictures of the big boats, and I just really wanted to do it. At the time I couldn't do it, but then after a couple of years when I had some money and time I applied, and so the first time I got on a land crew and we were working in the Faroe Islands, so we were doing like frontline defence against the whale killings that happen there every year.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, two things coming out of that is, one, it's more or less all volunteer work, isn't it? So it's not you're going there and you're getting paid to be on a boat for however long. It's you pay and you go, and it's really, you put your heart, you put yourself into your passion and your beliefs and really give it everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like most of the boats, most of the crews are purely volunteers, so we pay for our travel. Once you're on a boat, your accommodation and food is covered. But yeah, for sure, people are doing it because they really care passionately about the issues, and they're doing it because they love the oceans.
Yeah. And I mean, I wonder, because I spoke to you after you came back from the Faroe Islands, and I think we've all seen the horrific pictures of the pilot whale slaughter that happens there every year. How do you, as a passionate ocean lover, cope emotionally with seeing things like that?
I don't think you can do it and ever sort of go back. It's like you change, basically, and your outlook on the oceans changes, and if anything it just drives me further, that I want to do things, I want to get more people interested, I want to get more people involved, I want more people to wake up and see what's happening to our wildlife, our ocean wildlife, our land wildlife, and get involved, because that's the only way that things are going to change, is by people actually taking direct action. I think the time has gone where you can just rely on your government to sort things out. This is happening in Europe and it's against European law, but the Faroe Islands have managed to wiggle out of that by calling it traditional. The longer it goes on, the more damage is being done to this group of whales as well. It's like ongoing, so it needs to be direct action, it needs to happen quickly.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. I mean, does it happen that people get burnouts? I mean, I know that people who work in humanitarian work, they can manage a few months, but the trauma that they are exposed to, they then need, time out again. Does that happen also in Sea Shepherd?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. You've got to be sensitive and open-hearted to be interested in these subjects in the first place. Yeah. So, yeah, for sure, it can take its toll. I've got a lot of good friends. I come to Dahab, I can recover. But like I say, I think you permanently change as well. And sometimes it just, the thing that makes me upset more than anything is other people's indifference. It's not the issues and it's not the activists, but the general indifference of the mass population. That's the thing that's really hard to deal with, and that's why I think that talking about these issues is the best way forwards, because the more people that see a clip or see a picture, even though it's a tiny bit of their life at that time, that can then become a bigger bit of their life and a bigger action that they take. Lots of people start by seeing a petition and they'll sign an online petition, but that's like a seed that can turn into like a bigger action and further way forward with these issues.
So what else have you done for Sea Shepherd?
After that one, I recovered a bit and then I decided that it was time to try and get on one of the boats, and because I'm quite good at cooking, when I filled up my application form after a lot of thinking about it and thinking, again, I'm not really going to be able to recover from this one either, but I applied as a cook because I knew that they were always short of cooks and engineers. And yeah, lo and behold, quite rapidly, I got asked to go to Mexico and cook on one of the boats.
Mm.
So that boat, Farley Moat, is involved in protecting the vaquita refuge, and the vaquita is currently the most endangered marine mammal on the planet. So we've lost the dolphins, the river dolphins in China, and this is the next species on the list.
Wow.
So yeah.
So what did your work involve there in trying to save them?
The Mexican government set up a refuge, but actually that's a line on a map, and then because it's in the oceans, there's no fence around it, and there's no effective policing. So the Mexican government are pretty forward thinking, and they've involved their navy in working to protect the vaquita. So our boat, another one of our boats, and about 3 the Mexican Navy small boats are patrolling the area, watching where the poachers are going, and then going back to those areas during the day after watching them at night, because they're working at night because it's illegal.
Yeah.
They go back during the day and we trawl this big hook behind the boats, and eventually it will catch one of the illegal nets. And then once we catch the top line of them, they can be like about 1 kilometre long underwater. So then you snag a section of it, and then basically stay in that area and pull the whole net out from the sea. And they're big gill nets, so they've got like an area like that. So the idea is it catches a fish, it catches it behind its gills, and the fish effectively drowns in the sea. Everything gets tangled in these nets, like everything. So one of the animals that we managed to rescue was a humpback whale, and it was stuck in this gill net. It was in about 7 metres of water. It was incredibly distressed. It was entangled. It couldn't move. If we hadn't have been there, the whale would have died. So 80% of the wildlife that we find in those nets is dead, and about 20% gets rescued. But that's including from humpback whales, sharks, dolphins, turtles, down to crabs. Everything can get caught in these nets. And the reason those nets are there, they're trying to catch Totoaba bass, which is another endangered species, because its swim bladder gets sold on the black market, and it ends up in Asia as a medicine and a status symbol because it's rare. But the critically endangered species is the vaquita porpoise, because there's about 30 left now, and they take 2 years to breed, so the chances of this species surviving is incredibly slim now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's heartbreaking when you hear those numbers and the types of animals and just the sheer volume and the pointlessness of it all in the first place is just it's heartbreaking and it's criminal. And I mean, one thing that I've always really respected and admired about you is how you see something, a belief that you're going to fight for, and you go for it 200%. You rescued the horses in Dahab 2-3 years ago, and the restaurant is plastic free. You go out on these incredible missions with Sea Shepherd. It's your level of integrity is, for me, I don't know, I've never met anybody quite like you, that everything that you believe in, it goes across every area of your life. So, I mean, if people, you say it's about people taking action now, is there a minimum time that people can be on a boat for, if people are watching this interview and they're interested in contacting Sea Shepherd?
I mean, everybody can be involved, because from people that buy merchandise, t-shirts and bags and things, to people that do a monthly donation, to people that go on the boat, every person is essential in operating the organisation now, because we can't operate without people on the boats, but we can't operate without funding. So the fuel bill for the boats is huge, and the food bill, and then a lot of people just donate food to the boats as well. But like every part of that cog are main captain, or like the head of the organisation, Paul Watson, has described the boats as a physical manifestation of our intention to save the oceans.
Okay.
So when you look at a post on social media, every single person that's like commenting and that's posting is also involved as well.
True.
And they're giving at the same time. You know, lots of people's lives, you can't disappear for 6 months and go on a boat, but you can support, and you can become aware. You can reduce your plastic use. You can reduce your consumption of fish.
Yeah.
There's things that everybody can do. That's what I've always sort of believed in with all these actions and activists, is everybody can do something. And usually when you start doing something, even if it can just is a small thing, oh, I won't have straws anymore, that just it snowballs. And then people go, oh, I don't need to use a straw. And you get this interesting 100 monkeys effect. You know, once 100 monkeys are doing it, all the monkeys will do it, because then it becomes normal.
Yeah.
So again, it's like you just hope that these small seeds of activism encourage people to think a little bit more about what they're doing, what they're consuming, and what they can do in a positive way.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, you're now in Dahab running the Marine Garden Camp vegan restaurant. Are you going to go on another mission soon, or what do you think your plans are?
Probably. I challenged myself to stay in one place for a year, and then I got offered the restaurant, so that sort of made that even more of a thing, that I was going to stay in one place for probably a year.
Yeah.
I've got some other Sea Shepherd cooks coming, so it's nice.
Cool.
So I'm going to see if I can last a year in one place.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really cool if in Dahab we have a restaurant that has several different Sea Shepherd cooks working here. And again, getting people to think about Sea Shepherd. We're right next to the sea. It's like the connection here is just so obvious. It's like what you're eating and our environment. And again, it's like there's sometimes choices are difficult. It's hard for people to like not live in a house or not travel to and from work and use the existing travelling systems. But what you eat is a simple decision that you make 3 or 4 times a day. Shall I eat this or not? Shall I eat this or not?
Yeah.
Or there's and what I'm trying to do here is just to offer people an alternative. I think a lot of people think vegan food is some weird, strange thing. It's tasty food.
Yeah.
It's an alternative. You don't have to be a vegan to eat vegan food. You can just eat nice food and, you know, maybe feel a bit differently, and then maybe reduce your meat or fish consumption. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It's probably not going to, but just to get people to make the connection again between our marine world and our land, our terrestrial world. And I reckon 80-90% of the people that come here are eating regular food that they've eaten all their lives, and it's interesting for people to come and have something a bit different, and a bit healthier as well in Dahab for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's just a very, very small insight into some of the work that Sea Shepherd does, and some of the work that Sheila does, both with Sea Shepherd and here in our community in Dahab for the locals and for the freedivers. So if you want to get involved, of course, please donate to Sea Shepherd, get in touch with them directly. But you can also give the gift of a clear conscience for yourself or for your friends and family by gifting them a Yoga for Freediving video course this Christmas. And I will give 20%, that's $10 of every course sold, directly to Sea Shepherd. So thank you for being with us here today. And I think Sheila and I should now tuck into a vegan Snickers, or what have you got on offer today?
Not a lot. You came on the day off, so
okay. I don't get a vegan Snickers today, but there you go. They're awesome. I can recommend them. Thank you for watching. Take care. Thank you, Sheila.
That's all right. Good. Done.
We're done.
Done. Cool.